by fishing with Stompy. Okay? I think he has a real swap, if I'm not mistaken, Stompy. But he is the sponsor of this Stockrod class. So here we go. Pretty decent class when it comes to the numbers. Here they come out of Cashel corner. Yep, watching them all line up. Get into position. 8 cars out on the field so far. That should be Michelle Brunt, that's the pole position. She's the A50, but she is the ZA2. And then, nice to see this young man back, Timon Lazarus. Commentated with Timon for quite some time. Then the flying Dutchman, Matthew van Dorp. And Nick van Eden is there on his outside. Then we have got Dominic Griessen in the RGR Racing golf. Then Eleanor Oosthuizen, Colt Oosthuizen, and Clayton van der Westhuizen at the back of the field.
And as you can see, it's a little different. I don't know, she loves to hear it. Look at that very brightly coloured 246, where Eleanor Oosthuizen a nice new livery for her for the season. And I think she's going to have some fun out there today.
So she's got a youngster on her outside in Cole. So she's going to say, boy, drive, otherwise I beat you. He's going to say, come on, mommy, let's see if you can beat me. So that's going to be a mom and son fight out there between Eleanor and Cole.
Yep, we always like to see a bit of a family affair now at RGR Racing. Fathers and sons, mothers and sons, fathers and daughters, mothers and daughters. It's all good family racing at the end of the day. Let's end the way. But next lap, before we get racing.
Well, Michelle Brunt went to retail and she was involved in a war there. And she came home with that ZA2 number. And I watched that one on live stream, and man, was it tough out there. But here we go, the green flag is up. She'll know what to do. Michelle Brunt, the green flag. Down into number 1, Timon Lazarus in that second spot. Then right behind Timon is Matthew van Dorp. Then Dominic Gearex on Dominic's outside, it's Nick van Eden. Down the backtrack they go. Eleanor Oosthuizen coming through, taken by the Westhuizen, and Cole Oosthuizen again on that number 1.
And down the backside of the circuit. Fight between the ladies and the back end of the field between Eleanor Oosthuizen and Nathan van der Westhuizen. It's to the front now, it's a competition. Michelle Brunt. And around, and it is going to tell Griessen they're going to hit a battle for third, fourth, and fifth. And it ranges on down into Cashel.
Down into Cashel corner they go. Michelle Brunt, Timon Lazarus right there on the brakes as they work their way around the Cashel corner. That could be the end of it. And that's selling it very, very rough. And then all of a sudden, bang, that motor has gone on the ZA2 of Michelle Brunt. Now, they're going to have to be careful for all of it out there as Timon Lazarus is now the new leader.
And there's the circuit. That looks to me better for North. The circuit and up against the barrier, so 2 cars off in the course of 1 lap as they carry on maybe something on that side of the circuit as well. I don't think that Michelle Brunt has the last run the race but here comes the rest of the Griessen, and right behind, and so Bri Pressure. Now back on fight here between Dominic Griessen and the
last year, racing in the soft block category this year, and it is Anibrand that is chasing down Dominic as the chasing circle slowing down, so there will be dust, oil, everything on that track. As taken by the backside the main, so Irvine was followed by Goodwood, and then the race leader, Pierre Pressure.
So let's keep counting down. Watch the across now. Full spot. Fourth, taken by the business as it stands. Then Annibrand Racing makes his way right from the station in that Polo Classic. As well as Illinois Station in rounds 1 by. And this one, Montague and third still ranges on.
I'm going to see that one that's between the 9 car and the 98 car Dominic Griessen and Montague as the white flag comes out for the 655 of race leader Dylan Lazarus. There's even body parts that's a part of crank off the number 9 car of Dominic as the checkered flag comes out Geordie for the 655 on the winner Dylan Lazarus.
Into the line, back off the quite some time, Dylan Lazarus, 6th victory. Ahead of all second and third place, almost has to come to line here, second spot. Going to Dominic Griessen ahead of Winning at the line. Going first from the Illinois Station. And then another good run in first race of the day. Later from the business, the 103 comes home in 4th spot overall. And then rounding the final one and coming across the line is Volvo Faces.
Right, there we go. Stockrods. Take the front of the station. Will lead then out in the Stockrod category. This class sponsored by Fishing with Stumpy. Take the front of the station coming towards us. And then we got Dominic Griessen. Well, the field has gone pretty small from what it was. And Nick van Eden, Matthew van Dorp, and Dylan Lazarus.
Well, we did lose, of course. The race leader has come first station. Has just come to a stop midway through the circuit. We did lose Michelle Brandt in heat number 1 with a blow up.
Now Cole was up with us in the commentary box, and they withdrew both cars, and then his mother entered in that 46 car, as there is a problem with Eleanor's car. So we've got confirmation from the ladies here that it is Eleanor that is driving Cole's car.
Yep, so there will be 6 cars out on the grid. At the moment we did have Annibrand Lazarus win out in race number 1, as I said. No Michelle Brandt in this one. We did have Matthew van Dorp also going off in turn number 2, and then I heard that apparently there was a little bit of bumping when he was race number 1, but he lost, could have been a linkage because he couldn't select first, only reverse, but he did manage to get that car back up and running as they find themselves to the green. This is race number 2 for the Michigan Stormy Stockrods. Leading out as they go to turn 1.
To the one that go running a touch wide there, then diving back in was Dylan Lazarus. That is going to be the car driver combination to catch. That I can promise you, together with the likes of Dominic Griessen. He's like, oh, look at that, 3 of us coming out of turn number 2. Surely you can't hold that. Dylan Lazarus dropped down there. He sits down the outside of Capricorn Petroleum and followed there by Matthew van Dorp. But it's all about Nick van Eden, and sits out there in P1 in that 98, and right on the heels there is Dominic Griessen in that number 9 car.
Yeah, but look at the pressure on the back end there. It's Nick van Eden at the moment from Dominic Griessen in the Mark 2. And around the outside and slotting it just onto the tail of the 98 goes Dominic Griessen, trying to just put more and more pressure on to try and let Nick van Eden make some sort of mistake and capitalize on that. It's sitting 1, 2 and 3 for van Eden. Then it's Griessen getting that third point to Lazarus.
And then it's taken up on the west side, and she's having a fight there with the number 12 of Matthew van Dorp as the two of them work their way out of 1. But down at the back straight they go towards the Castle corner as Eleanor Westhuizen crosses the line. There comes your leaders, Nick van Eden, Dominic Griessen, Dylan Lazarus. That is the extra Roach car that the 3 of them are in, that he is in, is Dylan, and they put a lap there on Eleanor Westhuizen, and with 3 front runners working their way out of Castrol.
Yep, around the outside, Dylan Lazarus trying to make a move. He runs a little bit wide. A bit of ground to Dominic Griessen in that berth one, and Nick van Eden putting on a brilliant race so far, leading out in the Stockrods class. Obviously they've combined themselves between Stockrods and Pink Stocks at the moment, so they're all in line for the season. It's now slowing right down. An issue there. I think Vanilla called it a little too soon as she pulled off to the side of the circuit and Dominic Cruiser the lead.
Yeah, the arm comes out the window. That's the end of that for the 98 golf, unfortunately. And that will mean that the number 9 of Dominic Griessen will hit the lead, making his way out of Castle Corner. As the white flag comes out, and no troubles out there for the RGR Racing Golf 2 of race leader Dominic Griessen.
However, trouble for the 655 of Divan Lesbos as he's just dropping positions now, losing another spot. 2 taken by the best days and then moves up into 3rd overall. Matthew Van Dorp also very quietly slotted up into that 2nd spot as the checkered flag tap in the roof. Dominic Griessen comes home in 1st place ahead of Matthew Van Dorp. The flying Dutchman in that 2nd spot ahead of Pierre taken by the best days in 3rd. And Divan Lesbos rolling it.
That is for sure in that 655 as they work their way through Castle Corner, slow through Castle. The green flag is up. Jean Favre has got the green flag and he'll send them on their way now as he drops the flag and off they go. He's running on that outside line. Is he going to get the whole shot? No, we won't. It'll go to Anibrand. And now he gets the lead there. The whole shot did not go to him. They did go to the 98 car, but directly after that he got his nose up front. And I think it's goodbye, sir. I am out of here right now. And Anibrand is making this stage of the game with Griessen into turn 1.
Yep, off into the darkness goes Lazarus, now front ahead of Anibrand and Dominic Griessen. What a move that was around the outside into turn number 1. Basically from last to first in one corner as he pulls ahead of the rest of the field. Yeah, Anibrand on the inside, Dominic Griessen behind him, taken by the best days. Matthew Van Dorp on her outside, now slotting into place as they go through Phoenix's corner.
But right now it's a fight for 2nd and 3rd because Lazarus has gone out of this one. Devon is disappearing down the highway and it's a fight now between the 98 and the 9 between Anibrand and Dominic Griessen. Tom drives around her on the outside going into 1. Out of 1, he moves up into 2nd, Vanilla drops down to 3rd, and here comes Titan van der Westhuizen and Matthew Van Dorp.
Yeah, but good battle between those two at the tail end. Still fighting for 4th and 5th overall. But yeah, comes past us. Ivan Lazarus just ahead there of Dominic Griessen. And Dominic Griessen is now pulling away from Anibrand in that 3rd spot, but still fighting for 4th and 5th. Is Tatum van der Westhuizen and Matthew Van Dorp.
Well, coming very wide out of Castle Corner, he's your leader, Ivan Lazarus. And Dominic Griessen, he's on the move. I'll tell you what, the 98 is getting closer and closer. She's closing up the gap there once again to the 9 of Griessen as they work their way down. And she has caught him very quickly as they work their way out of Castle.
And it's going to be a fight till the very end. However, the very end is a lap away. The white flag makes its way out. 2 more corners left to go for the field.
Oh, this will be the forward into the side of Titan van der Westhuizen goes Matthew Van Dorp on the last lap. So the full course yellow flag has come out. Was this the last lap?
It was on the last lap. The white flag was out.
So you can't then throw the yellow, you've got to go check it.
So we'll just have to see. There it is, yes. Divan rolls off.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably end up, probably end up going one lap back because the checkered flag comes out now with the yellow. But that's obviously not for us to determine. That's for the powers that be to determine if they're going to go that route. But yeah, there was serious contact on the last, I think so. But from the racing point of view, this is the final race of the event. Here we go, Dominic Griessen. Tom finds himself there in P1. As the car goes round, and away we go into turn number 1. And Ivan Lazarus is there in that 2nd position. Then we've got the 2 ladies in the 28 and on the inside is Titan van der Westhuizen, followed by Matthew Van Dorp. As the lot of them work their way out of Castle, but it's side by side for P1. That's side by side for P1 between Dominic Griessen and on his outside, Ivan Lazarus.
And it's still side by side for 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th as they go around toward Castro Corner now. Down to the final corner and side by side between Griessen and Lazarus now as they exit and down towards the start finish line. It will be Dominic Griessen on the inside coming into the exit corner. Will Lazarus be able to get around the outside? No, he doesn't. You slot back into place. Nick Van Eden sits in that third spot. Will hold it ways away from the fourth and fifth battle that's happening just behind.
Well, I'll tell you what, EP 1 and 2 bung each other down like this. And Griessen Lazarus is going to bring Van Eden into play as well. And Nick is slowly closing on those two ahead of her. As she's got missile lock on both of them as they run down towards Castro Corner.
And we can't forget just behind them the young lady takes it by the best days and the flying Dutchman. Matthew Van Dort is also fighting for fourth and fifth. But look at this, I think Van Eden is closing. And by major drops as she's just behind the two at the front. Dominic Griessen still holding out the lead ahead of Divan. As they go into Castro Corner, Divan and Lazarus are around the outside. He keeps trying to make that move, but it hasn't stuck just yet.
She is getting closer and closer to make the ride to number one. There is a fight behind her. Taken up by the best days and Matthew Van Dort for that fourth position. As the three front runners make their way into Castro Corner, the white flag is out. This is the last lap time. Geordie, they are still next to each other as they work their way back and catch now. On the last lap, Van Eden has engaged in that fight as well.
Divan is running out of time to go around the outside. I think Van Eden is running out of time to try and get the two in front. She has a chance to catch the points, but it's no longer there with a quarter left to go. Dominic Griessen on the inside holds it off and takes victory in the final ahead of Divan Lazarus and then Nick Van Eden.
And then there's one more fight coming down towards the line, and that one for P4 will be one there by Tatum van der Westhuizen. Just ahead there of the Flying Dutchman, Matthew Van Dort.